Let me tell you a story. One day when I was a college student, one of our professors said that the next day we should take an exam. We all protested and said that, no, please, we cannot prepare in one day and we need at least 1 week and so on. And fortunately, we convinced the professor to give us 1 week to prepare for the exam. But we didn't study for 1 week. We played games, watched movies, and we had fun. And we just waited for the night before the exam and we studied just for a few hours. Do you know why? Because of Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law says that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. To make it more clear, let me give you an example. Imagine that your manager asks you to write a blog post, okay? And you know that writing a blog post will take 4 hours of your time. Now, if your manager gives you 1 day to write the post, you will complete the post in 1 day. If he gives you 1 week to prepare it, you will start to work after 6 days. And if he gives you 1 month to complete the blog post, you will wait 29 days to begin the work. So no matter how much time they give you to complete a task, most probably you will finish that task at the last moment, meaning you will begin the work X hours before the deadline. And X is the amount of time that you believe is essential and enough to complete the task. So in this example, you will wait for the last day to start the work simply because you know that you can write the blog post in 4 hours, right? This is the first lesson that we learn from Parkinson's Law. But let's go back to this example again. Imagine that your manager says something like, it's not urgent, so prepare it when you can. And he doesn't give you a real deadline. What do you think will happen? This is so interesting because in this case, you won't be willing to start and finish the project. Because you will think that, well, it's not urgent, so I can do it later. And you will procrastinate. And you will not start the project until there is a real force on you. And yes, deadline is a real and effective force. So having deadline is crucial to complete a task successfully. This is the second lesson that we learn from Parkinson's Law. But the third lesson is even more important. Let's say that Jack is a web designer and works at a good company. He gets a new project every week and he can complete the project in 3 days. But his manager always gives him 5 days to complete the project, which means every week Jack has 2 free days, right? Jack has a colleague, Emily. Emily is also a web designer and just like Jack, she gets a new project every week and she can complete the project in 4 days. But again, the manager gives her 5 days to complete the project. So every week, Emily has also 1 free day, okay? Now, who do you think will be more successful after completing 100 projects? Jack or Emily? The answer to this question is so difficult, right? But let's think deeply. Getting 100 projects means 200 extra free days for Jack and 100 extra free days for Emily, right? Now imagine that Jack plays game and watches Netflix when he's free, but Emily uses her free time to learn new things and improve her skills, okay? Now, the answer to this question is easier, isn't it? And we can be sure that after a while, Emily will be more successful than Jack because she uses her free time better than Jack, right? So our growth and our success in the long term generally depends on how we use our available extra time. These are the 3 lessons that we learn from Parkinson's Law, but we need to be cautious because Parkinson's Law sometimes leads us into trouble. For example, imagine that you have 30 days to complete a project that you can complete in 2 days. And because of Parkinson's Law, you wait for the last 2 days to start a project, right? But what if something bad happens in the last day? What if your love or your child gets sick, or you face another problem and you can't complete the project? You see, if you procrastinate and wait for the last minute, most probably you will face a problem and most probably you will fail. So we need to avoid this problem by using a very simple trick: changing the deadline. For example, I usually cut the deadline in half. I mean, if the deadline is in 30 days, I imagine that the deadline is in 15 days. So I try my best to complete the project in 15 days. This simple trick helped me complete the project in time and avoid the last minute problems. And at the same time, it also saved me a lot of time and improved my productivity. So I challenge you and I encourage you to use this technique whenever you want to do something. So in a recap, always have a deadline for all the things that you want to do. Cut the deadline in half and try your best to finish the work before the new deadline, and use your free times purposefully to improve your skills.